So I believe that is from the government side. Imagine coming from the private sector, you notice Country Garden, Tangga Bay area, you notice Tropicana, Especially, right? UM Land. These are the big boys taking together, playing a positive role, a strong partnership to the government and build their own development. So I believe the next 5 to 10 years is going to be excellent for city center. And then as Samuel says that by 2018, the MRT will stop in the city center. That will boost further the population and the attractiveness to the Singapore to stay and earn a superior income in Singapore. Thank you.
Keith, any final thoughts?
I totally disagree. Sorry. I love the city centre of JB. I think the thing is that we've got to be realistic. I hear plans about opening up the Jalan Wong Fort Road and creating a river. That's nonsense. And the copy of that is in Seoul. I lived in Seoul for 3 years and I saw that project happening. It can happen in Seoul, because Seoul you can drive for 2 hours and all you see is concrete and neon signs. And there's lots of other roads that they can disperse the traffic. So they needed to open up the river. In JB, I'm 10 minutes away from the countryside, from here. Why are we talking about bringing the country into the city? I don't understand it. The country's only 10 minutes away from here. Why are we trying to do that? Let's get real. This street out here is a great little street. You cross the street and you've got some fantastic shop houses and heritage buildings and temples, etc. It's already a tourist attraction if it was safe, if it was well lit, if it was brightened up a little bit. That's all. It's not about spending millions of dollars and creating a river that will just make more and more congestion. I could bring the Eiffel Tower to Jalan Wong Fort. I could put the Champs-Élysées at the end of this road, but it's still surrounded by rubbish roads. It's still a disaster. So I don't believe in those plans, number one. I just look at simple things. You know the tagline of ERDA? Does anybody know that? You're not allowed to answer, guys. Does anybody know the tagline of the Iskandar Regional Development Authority? To be a metropolis of global standing. A metropolis of global standing. My question is simple. Why? Do you know what a metropolis is? It's over dense space where there's usually a lot of crime, usually a lot of infrastructure issues. We are very lucky in Johor. We live in houses with little gardens and we've got lots of space. Why do we want to cram ourselves into a high-rise and call ourselves a metropolis? And why global? Why should Johor even think about being global? Why can't we just be the best in Asia? I'd love to do that. Let's be the best in Asia. Okay? So the message in that is not for me to be critical of what they've put up there, but for me to be realistic about it. Our targets must be realistic. I think it's realistic that we can be a pleasant, living, working environment and a great place to do business and bring up your children in a country setting. This is a country setting. We don't need to be global. We can be an Asian powerhouse. If we get our targets realistic, we've got a chance of achieving them. Okay? I think my 2 points.
That itself is something worth looking for. In any case, the purpose of this forum is not to inject over-optimism into something that we know is happening, but rather to also throw some caution so that everyone here is aware of some of the pros and cons, and we all owe it to ourselves to know, to differentiate between what presents a problem and with that, I'm sure comes opportunity, right? So for those of you who joined us this morning session with Ayat Ishak, you notice that here is a place that is full of problems. But if you look at the other side of the coin, with problems come opportunity. The challenge is, how big is the opportunity that you are seeing? And with that, do not worry about the slide behind. I'm sure some of you really wanted to know what's on it. So we have made things easy for you. Now for those of you who have not picked up your free show guide yet, please make your way to our Marpex visitor counter right in front of Starbucks or just behind the stage at Hush Puppies. So just register yourself and you get this absolutely free. All the information in detail is already right in there from the Johor Bahru transformation plan. Whether it works out or it doesn't matter. At least something positive is happening. And then for those of you who are interested in businesses, whether is it on the leasing model or looking for services, we have experts that cover, for example, Merdini. So what are some of the models that are available for different businesses? We have I2M, which is a facilitator of business space and services within Nusa Jaya. So these are some of the contacts that you can find right inside. And do not miss out on our speakers covering. Keith, he'll be joining us tomorrow again to share with us his vision. Because he intends to be here for the next lifetime, right? So he would like to explore with us how his child is going to grow up into, whether it's going to be like an exciting kid, a wayward teenager, or ultimately a responsible adult. Okay, so join him tomorrow at 4, and also Encik Mano will be with us to see what are some of the policies that are benefiting Malaysians and locals in general tomorrow at 4 p.m. I believe. So join us back again, and I think I see one question. I mean, let's just take one question and then we will join the rest slightly later. Yes, sir.
Can I have a mic? My apologies. I overheard that you say that Iskandar wants to be like Singapore, a metropolis. When I tell my friends back in Singapore, why don't you shift your business to Iskandar? They say number one, there's no efficiency. Number two, there's no productivity. And the city of Singapore never sleeps. It's 24/7, it's always on. How can you say that Singapore, Iskandar can be compared to Singapore? My question.
Thank you. I think in the last 1 year, this is the 5th vision we raised. Where are the standards of Malaysia in terms of authorities, federal agencies, state agencies, local authorities? We have no doubt Singapore grows in the last 50 years because of its survival. Island is limited, right? So they need to capture globally the world. Malaysia being so huge, they take this for granted. We don't deny that. Suppose if Singapore is 90 or 95% efficient, we rate ourselves maybe 70-75% efficient. But with the creation of this special economic zone, the size of Klang Valley, 3 times the size of Singapore, twice the size of Hong Kong, we can't do things like Singapore does in 1 year, 2 years. We can't do that. But first, we come up with a blueprint, the incentive, and we get the right people to sit from the private sector, the best from the private sector, majority of them to be inside the authority, and slowly we're building ourselves to serve the international, the local, because we know that the local knows how to game or how to invest in any part of Malaysia, but the foreigner from China, from Korea, from Singapore itself. So we cannot deny we are not as efficient as Singapore, but we will come to that place, to that standard. In 3 years, we might be 80%. In 5 years, we should be 90%. Then you can see how we can compete with Singapore. If you notice Pengerang, the oil and gas, next door to Iskandar, those are international oil and gas. We are very good in that, right? But with the resources with the financial ability in terms of oil and gas, we can reach Singapore anytime, right? The initial capacity 10 million gallons per day is equivalent to Singapore now. You can go 3 times, 4 times the capacity. It's a matter of time. What we are doing is with time. We can't do it overnight. That is, I would say, would be the best answer for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So I believe the time is up. So we would love to join you off the stage. And just to answer the gentleman's question, if we could not be what we are if we can't be Singapore, we can probably be what Shenzhen is to Hong Kong. And we actually have a special coverage on page 36 just to answer that question. So for those of you who would like to find out more about the Iskandar story, do grab your show bag. With that, thank you very much. And Mr. Samuel Tan will be up on stage in 5 minutes for his sharing on how you can create wealth with wise property investment decision. Okay, so see you shortly. And before that, I believe we have some mementos and souvenirs for our speakers. Can we invite the branch chairman of Johor, Mr. Koh Mu Heng, up on stage, please? Mr. Koh, please. Thank you. Okay, first up, maybe we'll have a memento for Mr. Samuel Tan. And next up, Encik Manok. And finally, Mr. Dave Martin. Gentlemen, can we just have a group photo with Mr. Koh?
sensible one as well.
Okay, sure. One.
That's for my kids.
Okay. Now,
Oh, everybody's together.
first take. One more. Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, thank you very much.